All praise due to Allah, and may Allah's peace and blessings be on His last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and on all those who follow the path of righteousness until the last day. In this session, I hope to look at another aspect of Tawheed, and specifically it is in relationship to Tawheed al-Ebaadah. In the previous session, in our first session, we looked at the various categories of Tawheed. Three categories which we refer to as Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, or the unity of Lordship, Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat, the unity of Allah's names and attributes, and Tawheed al-Ibadah, or the unity of the worship of Allah. And in the second session, last week, we looked at certain aspects of Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat, specifically concerning Allah's attribute, which is referred to as al-Ulu, or His transcendency, being above His creation and not a part of His creation. We also looked at an aspect which relates to Tawheed al-Rububiyyah in the case of people using astrology or astronomy or fortune telling, etc., to give information about the future. And we showed how this destroys Tawheed and how a Muslim cannot be involved in such practices in any way, with the exception, of course, of astronomy, which deals specifically with the scientific aspects of the position of the stars as it relates to man's needs on the earth in relationship to determining the months or the directions for travel on the sea as well as on land. In this session, we'll be looking at an aspect of Tawheed al-Ibadah which relates to man's relationship to other human beings, where communication with God is concerned. One of the ways by which Satan and the satanic forces have succeeded in causing people who fundamentally believe in God and are seeking to worship God, how they have managed to get these people astray is by having them worship other than God while believing that they're worshiping God. We mentioned this from in the first session and reiterated it in the second session, and in this session we'll be looking at that in more detail. We gave examples among the Christians, for example, who worship God but through Jesus, and they believe that in worshiping God through Jesus they're in fact worshiping God. Similarly, the Hindus in worshiping statues believe that they're worshiping God, Brahma, who is present within their statues. Now, what has happened amongst Muslims is that they have been divorced from the direct worship of God through the introduction of intermediaries. That is, people who will take the prayers of one to God. People pray to other people with the intention that they will take those prayers to God. And we talked about this briefly in the first session, because it also relates to Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat, in that the argument used by these people is that we need intermediaries in this life to get things done. We go to someone who has influence, what they call in Arabic wasita, and this person will intervene on your behalf, talk to the higher official so that you can get your affairs taken care of. And the say that this is the same thing that we need to do in relationship to God, because of the fact that we are sinful, and as such our prayers will not be heard. So it is better for us to go to one who is pure of sin, like a prophet or a saint or somebody of this nature, and this person will carry our prayers to God for us. This is the argument, the rationale which is used. But we pointed out that this rationale, in fact, is paganistic. It is shirk, because it reduces God to the level of man. It is saying the same way that we have to use intermediaries in our human affairs, God is like a human in the sense that he needs intermediaries. When in fact, Allah has specifically stated in the Quran that we should call on him. Ud'uni astajib lakum. Call on me and I will answer you. He didn't say call on those who are close to me. No, he said call on me and I will answer you. And in the Fatiha we are taught to pray, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only you do we worship, and from only you do we seek help. This is to emphasize in our minds that we should not use any intermediaries in any way. What happens is that people, in spite of this very obvious information which is available in Islam, anybody who reads the Quran can see it and know it, people have been blinded to this reality from two ways, or maybe more than two ways, but I can think of two ways right now. One, in that most people don't read the Quran. What they do is they parrot the Arabic letters and sounds. You see, they may learn how to say the letters and the sounds, but they don't know what it says. So they parrot the Arabic, believing that they're reading the Quran. This is what has happened to a huge sector of the Ummah, the Muslim Ummah. They do not know what Allah is saying in the Quran. And this is why Christian missionary work has been successful among the masses of Muslims in areas where they've been given a free hand, like in Bangladesh and in Indonesia. They've been very successful in these countries. Now, this means that there has to be a move amongst Muslims to return to the Quran, to the reading and understanding of the Quran. That means, since the majority of Muslims do not know Arabic, one, there should be programs to learn Arabic, not just to parrot the words and the sounds, but to learn and understand the meaning of the Arabic words. That is, it is necessary within the educational programs that amongst Muslim communities that are being set up in our times, that Arabic should be introduced so it becomes the second language of every Muslim, if not the first. This is a necessary step which has to be taken. Similarly, until that process becomes complete where the vast majority of Muslims do know Arabic, it is necessary for us to rely on translations. So, for languages where people do not have the translations of the Arabic Quran in their languages, then these translations need to be done. And for those who are speaking English or languages where there are translations, it is necessary for them to read the Quran in translation. They may read the Arabic to help to develop their consciousness of the Arabic with the intention of learning the Arabic grammar so that they will eventually understand the Quran as